Well, that escalated quickly. I was painting these bottle caps. Originally, I wanted to make the macarons. And then I thought, if I just do half, they'll look like little Baby Yoda cookies from the Mandalorian. And then they were finished. And they still, to me, look a lot like bottle caps that I just painted blue. Then I got the crazy idea that these would look more like Baby Yoda cookies in the hand of Baby Yoda. But of course, I'm not going to go out and buy a Baby Yoda. That's too expensive. So I have this really cool air-dried clay. That's what I use to fill the bottle caps. And it's still kind of squishy, even though it's supposedly hardened. I left this in the bottle cap for like 2 days. And I think it's dry, but it's still squishy. I like that though. So, on a whim, I mixed up the green and yellow. I really like the color, but it's not going to be enough to make it big enough Baby Yoda. And now that I've opened it and mixed it, I have to use it. So, I found some eggs from a dragon egg craft that I made a few years ago. And I kept them apart. Now I'm just waiting for my hot glue gun to heat up so I can glue these together to make the skull that I will then cover. To make my own Baby Yoda. I also found some little twist ties that I might use to make the armature. I think that's what you would call the bone structure of a sculpture. I might use these to make the hands. Yeah, I was not planning on this. Clearly. But I'm just going for it. Because why not? I really hope this works out. We shall see. And there we go, I've skipped ahead. And you can see I've added the features to my little child's face. And now I'm going in with the handle of my paintbrush to try and smooth out where I've joined and added to the clay, as well as put in little wrinkles and frown lines and stuff. The smoothing didn't work out as well as I would have liked. But in the end, he's supposed to be wrinkly, so it works. I also used the end of the paintbrush to give the little nostril details, as well as indents for the smiles, a little cheeky, whatever those are. And now I'm using the foil twist ties again. Hopefully you remember from earlier that I used those for the ears, for the understructure. And now I'm using them again for the hands. And my goodness, these things were fiddly. As much as I'm used to working with fiddly stuff, especially trying to connect those teeny tiny little hands to another twist tie for an arm was difficult, to say the least. Wait for it. Wait for it. Yep, I just dropped it. I did that a few times. And yeah, that's how I made the base structure. This was a craft of many materials. There are the two little arms. They don't look like much, but they will. They will. I cover them up with clay next, the same clay that I used for the head. And looking back, I wish I had have made the arms a little bit thicker and maybe a little longer, although I don't know how that would have worked, because I did need some of the twist tie to attach to the rest of the arm, which you will see later. The thicker arms out of clay, it's definitely something I would have done if I could go back in time and do it again. Yeah, so there I am, just sculpting a teeny little arm, and it's super cute. And I think now we should take the opportunity to just pause for a minute and say, hey, how are you doing? I haven't done that check-in yet, and I think it's still vitally important, since we are on March day, 379? I've lost count. How about you? I'm struggling. As nice as these little projects are to, devote some attention to and distract me from everything else, and boy, do I get focused when I'm in the moment. There's a completed hand there. Ooh, looks lovely. Yeah, as I was saying, as much as these, are good for me, they only last so long, and then it's done and back to the real world, and there are the hands. 10. I used 10 different paintbrushes. Not just because of different sizing, but because I needed to touch up dry brushing and I needed the brush to be dry. And once it went in there, I couldn't get it dry enough. So I just grabbed a new brush just to get this far. Oh wow, that looks like a hot mess on the camera. It doesn't look as bad in person. Okay, when it blurs, it looks a little better. Yikes. And now for a coat of Mod Podge. I used matte for the majority, the head, ears, and hands, and gloss for the eyeballs to give them that nice, realistic look. Okay, here's where I'm at now. So I found this fabric in my scrap fabric bin where I keep the little remnants that I use for fabric painting. I've used this one in the past for like beaches and sandy paths and that kind of thing. But I thought this would be excellent for the robe for my little child. And as you can see, I've already gone ahead and sewed some arms and side seams. I was stumped when it came to the fur lining for the collar and cuffs, as I didn't have anything that was brown. But I found this used to be white. I tea-dyed it. I don't know if that's coming up nicely on camera. It's just a gentle, like a tan color more than brown, but it coordinates quite nicely with the cloak fabric. So I think this will be nice. I will construct that shortly. And then what I have gone ahead and done with my child is around his base I wrapped, this is just some quilt batting, leftovers from when I padded out Lady Jane, my womannequin. I had some strips already cut that were like the perfect size, so I just wrapped those around the toilet paper roll base that made up his like skeleton, and this just puffs him out a little bit. And I went ahead and took a strip of the cloak fabric because it looks like he's wearing 2 layers, like an undercloak and then like a jacket over top, as one might see in a traditional-ish Jedi costume. So I went ahead and took that strip, folded it so that all the raw edges were tucked inside, and then I hot glued around the top just so that you couldn't see any of the what makes up his innards, which isn't very pretty. So I glued that all the way around. I actually did this part first and then bulked him out, and then decided to take some pipe cleaners, just some fuzzy craft pipe cleaners. I chose green. These aren't going to be seen ideally, but just in case a little bit peeks out, I went with green so it would coordinate. And I used 2, wrapped them around the body, coming out in 2 different directions obviously, and then wrapped them around themselves. And these will be the posable arms, which once the costume is done, I will then attach the hands to. And as you can see, I went ahead and scrapped my original robe and made a new one. This one with a dark brown. Well, the reverse side, so it's a lighter dark brown. And I have attached the fur to it. I made this one the exact same way as the light brown one, only I made the sleeves bigger and the body bigger. I had more fabric, so I was able to do that. The light brown didn't work because there just wasn't enough fabric. And yeah, then that little flappy bit of extra fur around the collar, faux fur, not real fur, I end up cutting off and putting on the sleeves for a nice fancy cuff. And did some hand sewing for that collar, which, ooh, I hate hand sewing. I'm not really a fan of voiceovers either, but that's what you do when everybody is home. Thank you, pandemic. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up and leave you with the final reveal in just a minute. Thank you very much for watching. This has been a very weird video to make. I hope you enjoyed it though, and thanks so much for coming along on this journey with me. Chicken nugget.